And I think it's a shame that, I saw a tweet. I don't know whether it's a true story or not, but a guy said him and his girl were living together, and for 5 years he paid all the rent. Okay, and then she broke up with him, and then within 6 months later she bought a house.
Yeah.
Now because he had paid all the rent, he didn't have any savings, but because she was able to save her money, she was. And we sit there and say, looking at a situation like that, I say to myself, ideally, I think most women would like to be kept, most women, but I say the pressure that's put on young men nowadays to do that, when our dads and our grandparents did it, like in the 1980s. So I did a bit of research on the Gov website and the ONS. Now, the average salary for men in 1980 in the UK was 7,000. Okay. Yeah, the average house price was 20k, which means times 3 of your salary, you could buy a house. Let's say you closed your eyes and saved for 3 years and didn't spend anything. In 3 years' time, you could have bought that house. The problem now is that the average male salary in 2024 is 37k in the UK, apparently, and the average house price is just under 300 grand. So you're now on a times 9, times 10 scale. Like, things have changed. Like, the average guy cannot afford for you to live at home freely. Like, it's not fair. He just can't afford it. And the dynamic and the shift that's happening now is that men are going to have to accept that whatever idea they had in their head of their woman just being subservient and walking around the house, cooking, cleaning, unfortunately, we're both going to work now. We both work. We're both doing the same hours. And I don't know whether men are ready for that shift and whether women are, because some women are out earning men. And I don't know whether men are ready for that shift or women are, where a woman comes home and she's a breadwinner. And maybe because she's the boss at work, does she now have to take off her hat at home and no longer be the boss? Bearing in mind that, does a man feel emasculated? Like, I don't know. I sit there and say, let's look at a scenario. Let's say, for instance, let's say you're the average man. Let's say you're earning the average salary in the UK. And let's say you decided to move out. And let's say, for instance, your rent is maybe, I don't know, let's call it, you're in a 1 bed, she's living with you. Let's say your rent is $1,250.
Okay. So I'm on about 36.
Yes, let's assume that's half of your salary is the rent.
Yeah.
Now, in an ideal situation, you'd want her to just contribute.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got to think about it that if you're living in a 1 bed flat at $1,250, you calculate your electric bills, gas. Let's say everything comes up to $1,800 in the home. Then you've got to look about food and transport. Ideally, you probably spent about $2,200 without even. You look at what you spend now. Bear in mind you're at home with your mum.
Yeah.
Just now, let's add £1,800 to that now.
Yeah, it's big. it's big.
You're literally on a rabbit warp, on a hamster wheel.
Yeah. I can't not work. If I don't work, my savings are gone.
And that's what the average male salary is.
Yeah,
because we look at social media, we think that everyone's living this fantastic life.
No,
when you sit down to the nitty gritty, I know it depends about your circle, because one could argue that there's sometimes somebody might say 100k salary, that's light, that's nothing. That's to their circle. Maybe they're not looking outside of the bubble. So in their circle, that's light work. Like, I've got friends who are maybe on 200 grand a year. So if they was on 100k, they would probably fall down and bang their head. In the same way, someone said that if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah's money, he'll probably jump off a cliff. Do you get, like, everything is relative. It's relative to how it goes. Now, is it fair for any person to be in a situation and live with somebody and think they can just live there? Like that guy, I don't know if it was a real tweet or not, but he claims that they lived together for 5 years. She saved the money and bought a house, and he didn't because he was paying everything. And some women, a lot of women see this as fine.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether or not us men can deal with that dynamic. People talk about, and I like to always refer things back to money, because I think a lot of the issues we have and a lot of stress we have in our life, it rolls around finances. We go to work. We're bought for 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Do you think it's more expensive to be a man in today's
by far.
Yeah.
By far. And it's because of what we're spending. Like, when you look at what your salary is and look at how much is going towards your rent, just look at what goes towards your rent. For most people, half their salary is gone just on rent. If you're earning 40k a year, you take away your NI, this and that, you're probably left with about 2,524. So if you calculate half of that, so to have a 1 bed in zone 5 is about 1,250. That's just on rent. Half of your salary is gone on rent, and it wasn't like this back in the day. Half your salary wasn't cut on your rent. Things are so expensive, but we can continue arguing about how expensive life is here. What are we going to do? And you've got two choices. You either reduce your spending, or you increase your earnings. There's no other thing we can do here. And I would say that money management is more important than increasing your earnings. The first thing you've got now to is manage your money. So whenever I'm talking to young boys, learn how to manage your money, be disciplined. And this same young boy again, when I was breaking down his finances and I was looking through his statements, I started seeing a lot of restaurants. And I said, what's all this? He goes, I want to go out with girls. I said, be calculated. This guy's spending about between 300 and 350 pound a month on.
It's a bad investment. It's a bad, because these are women that aren't going to be around for very long.
He spends, I mean, I calculate it's about £4,000. He spends about £4,000 a year on dating, like taking women out. And it's like, yeah, but guys are meant to spend, like, I can't expect her to pay. I'm like, and see all this, when you break that, when you look at this and you think, I'm not saying that the reason why women are buying houses is because they get to save money. I'm not saying that's the reason, because some women are just very disciplined. But when you look at the setup generally, not all guys are spending, but I'm looking at this 21-year-old who's, you know, wanted to go and get a car, because generally that age, it's fine if women live at home. It's fine if women don't drive. But it's not probably fine if a guy lives at home. Probably not fine if a guy doesn't drive. And once again, there are exceptions to the rule. But look at what this brother's spending. He's spending £300 a month. And once again, he could go to the museum, go to the walk on the plaza, like you can walk on the pier, you can say that you don't need to spend on dates, which you generally don't, because it's about getting to know each other. But in this society, in this place we're in, once again, you shouldn't let peer pressure get you. But unfortunately, at 2021, it will. It happened to all of us. He's spunking about £300 a month.
Yeah, it's a waste. It's a massive waste. But I don't. What do you tell him?
And once again, I said to him, I'm not your financial advisor, but we've all, and sometimes we have to go through it to understand it. And I've gone through it. You know, I've gone through that era where, you know, and the funny thing is that if you have to peacock and do so much to get this woman's attention and have to break your back financially, I wonder how much of that interest is genuine and how much of it is.
It's not. You're paying for it. You might as well go to the beat house and pay £40.
Yeah, and I think
that's what it is. You're indirectly paying for.
And it's hard because, you know, I'm at a point now where, you know, I'm halfway through it. They say the average man in the UK dies at 82, 83. I'm almost halfway there. I've done half of my time already, and I'm sitting there now, and all that's in my head now is, I don't want to be 60 and be that man outside the bookies.
Do you feel old mentally?
I'll tell you when I feel old is when I go on holiday and maybe I'm at the beach or by the pool and I'm seeing young boys at the poolside and they're doing hey, and I'm sitting there like, rotted, like I'm in the same, should I be here?
Yeah.
Or will I go to like a rave which is not, or a bar or a club which is not over 30s? It's not like a rave that says over 30s, and I'm in there and I'm like, like man's uncle, like what am I doing here? That's when I feel old.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes me about 10 seconds to get out of bed. Like I've got to motivate myself. My joints and my elbows and my knees are not working to its best. Sometimes you've got to spray a bit of WD-40. So that's when I feel old. Or when I'm relatively fit, so I can jog for a good, say, 20 minutes and I'm fine. So I would say I'm all right.